this. Let me get it up on the screen here. Share. And what are we talking about today?
Well, we finished up with magic. The next one in the book is the starting with adventure to page 226.
I gotta move stuff. Sorry. You're gonna see again. Guys are gonna see me looking over here a lot because that's where my
other monitor is.
Yeah, my stream stuff is now. So, yep, Volume 3, Adventure and Combat.
Right, and this one, it starts off talking about the adventuring party, and I like this because a lot of games don't talk about the party of adventurers, and maybe
Oh crap, Ravens. Sorry, I got to interrupt. Ravens.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I forgot.
Again. Roll the wheel.
That's fine. Right. No, I can get this up here. Thank you, Ravenslayer. Thank you, because Bloodworth earned a game. I hope he gets a good one. That off. I have to stop sharing this.
All right, bring up the wheel of fun.
Bringing up the wheel of fun. And that's not it. Oh, duh. Copy that. Now I'll bring up the wheel of fun. That's the same fucking link. Oh, no, it's not. Alrighty. Now I need to show this. Come on, Bloodworth. Get a good game. Get a good game. Get a good game. The last two have been cheap games, unfortunately. But
I don't see anything.
You're not going to?
Oh, okay.
It takes a moment to do all this.
Okay.
I'm going to share the audio. Boom. That's not right at all.
That's not right at all, no. Yeah, show them all of our fiddly bits, like that asshole said.
Oh,
no, to be fair, he had good information, and his opinion was given in a concise fashion. It's just that whenever he said fiddly bits, I want to stab him in the face.
I forget what the name of that. Oh, it's RPG Lich or something like that. Look, I didn't disagree with everything he said. I don't like it when people ignorantly talk about early editions of D&D like there's some sort of racist, sexist trope, tripe, and it's like, no. Okay, spinning wheel is up. Are you ready to see what game he won?
I want to see it. I want to see
it. It is spinning. I can't hear it.
So can't hear it.
Okay. Apparently that only works.
That's okay. It's all right. Men are visual creatures. We're fine.
It's slowing down.
Come on, give me.
What?
Balance slot.
A lot. It's gray. So gray is the cheaper end. Unfortunately, that's the $5 to $10 games. But you have earned it if you have. So this is what I'm going to need from you.
No,
actually,
there's a banner. I'm going to throw up the banner.
Thank you. LCELOT.
So all you have to do is follow the instructions on the banner, and then you will get your game key, or at the very least a link to, if it's Humble Bundle, you'll get the link so you can activate the key yourself.
I'm not going to take it off here until I actually give it to him. So congratulations. I like giving these things away. We're getting the red starting to take up more space as we get rid of these black and gray ones. That's for sure.
The red ones are the big ones. The red ones are the $60 games.
Yep.
Well, so $55, $60 games.
Is he still here? Or did I scare him away?
He scared away.
Well, I'll send him a message on on Parler.
People shouldn't leave before they win their things.
Oh no, there he is. There he is.
Oh, there he is. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Okay, good.
All right, I'll put it back up then. Bam. All right, Bloodworth, go ahead and follow these instructions here, and you will get your game. And I hope you enjoy it.
Look at that. You come to the channel, you subscribe, you get free stuff already. And in fact, that technically is worth more than what the subscription.
The subscription, yeah. It's worth more than the subscription you just spent. So
hey, if you don't subscribe for a second month, you won.
Hey, what? No. What'd I tell you about not giving me money? Come on.
I know. So let me get to share this screen back up. But congratulations. Remember, we're here for fun. So if you help make this fun.
All right, let's get on back to this adventure.
I'm trying, man. God. There we go.
Okay, now this is an OSR game, so it's telling you right off the bat, in the first couple of sentences, a normal adventuring party is 4 to 8 player characters.
4 to 6.
Nope.
That's what it says here.
Nope. Adventuring party. A typical adventuring party comprises 4 to 8 player characters managed by a like number of players.
Oh, does the book? I've got it highlighted.
I'm looking at mine, and it says 4 to 8.
Look at the screen.
It's minimized. Hang on. Holy shit, that one says 6. Mine says 8.
Are you reading out the real book or the PDF?
I'm reading out with the PDF.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, anyway.
Okay. All right. Anyway.
Now I'm going to tell you, I'm one of those people that agrees with the 5 to 7 rule. Like, not that 4 to 6 is wrong or 4 to 8 is wrong, but 4 is, that's pushing it to me and the limit. But
Yeah.
I can't control 8 people. It's like
Right. It's not possible. Yeah. For one person, you have to have a sub GM or something like that. And it gets weird at that point. Now, it also says a well-rounded PC party should include at least 1 fighter, 1 magician, 1 cleric, and 1 thief. Now, if these are subclasses instead, that's usually fine. But all 4 of the cardinal classes should be represented in a well-rounded, functional party. Now, again, a lot of games these days don't say that. They just let their people fail.
Because player agency is more important.
Player agency. I've said it before. You the more power you give to players, the less fun you're going to have in a game. Everyone's going to have less fun. If they decided, oh no, we're going to be all fighters, well, they're going to have a bad time. They're going to have a bad time because every single pre-built adventure is going to be built around a diverse party rather than 5 fighters. If there's not the 1 magician, there's 1 task you're either not going to be able to accomplish or someone's going to die doing it.
Now here's the caveat I make to that. Purely homebrew. The game master knows that everybody in the party are 5 wizards or 5 fighters or something like that. He's doing his own homebrew thing.
That could work.
And that could work. But anything module or convention or standardized oriented, yes, if you don't have a well-rounded party and your game master is like me and doesn't deal with you hiring mercenaries and people to come with you because that's just more crap I got to figure out, you're going to want to be well-rounded. Yeah.
All right, so that's great. Right out of the gate, they pull that. And then they go into hirelings because that's a segue. Let's say all 4 classes are represented, but one of them is a subclass, and wow, man, if we had a base magician, he would have this spell or ability or whatever. Or if we had a base thief, instead of this purloiner, he would have the ability or skill required to do this. That's when hirelings should come into play.
So
to shore up your go.
I avoid stuff like this like the plague. I got to be honest with you on this. I don't like hirelings. By the way, I'm glad the rules in the book. I'm glad they have this here. The book would be missing something if it didn't have it. I'm talking my personal preference as a game master.
Sure.
I don't like to deal with mercenaries and hirelings and so on and so forth. I really don't. What is your take on handling hirelings? Like, when that warrior can have like 9 people with him, get to hand him his armor and go carry his torch and run through the dungeon for him and blah, blah, blah.
Well, no. That's not what hirelings do. I mean, number one, if you want to hire 9 people to go into a dungeon with you, you got a lot of money because they all know that we're going to a dungeon. We're level 1 hirelings because usually that's what hirelings are.
It says here they only cost where is it? Like a couple of gold. Or is it no? Those are the retainers or whatever they're called.
Those are the higher level people. I'm talking like the jabronis. Yeah, they are not going to put themselves into obvious danger. They won't, unless you are in this book. It's 9th level, and you have yourself the loyal followers. They're the ones who are going to be put in danger. But you got to pay them every month, and it's not a little bit. It's a lot. But the guide, or the tracker, or the scout that you hired, he's a one-off. He's not going to go, hey man, you hired me to get you from A to B, not fight like 20 kobolds. No, I'm out. I'm not doing this. They will bail. Let's go into the dungeon and save the girl. Like, no, I just got you here, man.
They'll bail based on this role. Or I think there's actually another one later.
No, this is just a reaction to offer. Like the hirelings, if you want to employ a hireling, that's great. You got the money, that's great.
Raven's right.
What's that?
The morale check.
Morale check, yeah. Hireling has options.
Yes.
All right. He is skilled at certain things, like a wilderness scout, like get you from A to B. He's done this a lot. He has experience. He's gotten people to and fro, so he's got a reputation of getting them there alive. That's great. But if you seem janky or or if you were like, oh yeah, we need to go here because we need to kill a whole bunch of kobolds or ogres or whatever.
And your arm's in a sling and your sword is rusty.
And you go pass, like that. But even if you're not like obviously janky, there's a hireling reaction to offer. Employing a hireling. If the referee deems appropriate, mercenaries and specialists are subject to reaction rolls when offered employment. Typically, common hirelings are not. Roll 2d6, add or subtract reaction/loyalty adjustment if applicable, and consult the following table. If you roll 2d6, 2 or less, that's if you have a really, really shitty charisma attribute modifier. Spurns offer, offended and outraged. No, I am not. You're an idiot. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. 3 is like, no. 4 is, yeah, but I need the money. Damn it. It sounds like a bad deal, but my wife really, really wants those new boots. Damn it. And then you go higher and higher.
With 4 and 5, you got to sweeten the offer.
Yeah. You got to sweeten the deal with 4 and 5. And then 6 through 8, it's like, yeah, we're going to have to sweeten the deal more, but it's not coming from a bad place. He's just trying to be a businessman. That's great. 9 and 10 is like, oh, okay, sure. And then 11 and 12 is basically like, oh, yeah, all right, I'm on the 12 or more. Is like, woo, this sounds like great. I'm happy to be on board. This is a great plan.
So for those of you who are going to stick around for the special segment today, which will be after segment 3, I want you to remember this chart. Write down the hireling reaction to offer chart, because this concept is going to come up in that video.
Okay.
Because this is ableist or something.
It is? All right, whatever.
Well, we'll get that. That's for the commentary.
Okay,
side.
all right. Yeah. And it says right after that the referee or game master can provide a bonus or penalty depending on extraneous factors. Me, it would be role play. If you role play hiring this guy and you're buttering him up, then I'm going to give a +1 to +3 on this roll because you're buttering him up.
I really like the Forbidden Lands rules of handling stuff like this. Because where you and I kind of differ on the role play thing, one of the things that I've kind of taught myself to do over the last couple of years is treat charisma checks like an attack roll. Everything in this game, you roll first and then figure out what the outcome is. For whatever reason, people do charisma checks as in let's figure out how you talk about it and then roll. It's like that. No, I get why people do it. I did it for decades, but to me, that's backward now. Now, the way Forbidden Lands does it, it just compares things. You get your base roll, but then are there more people on your side? Did you sweeten the pot? Are you friends? Are you enemies? Are you this? So on and so forth. And all that just adds in directly. If I were to do this, I would probably incorporate something similar to that. Not so much the players role playing, because let's be honest, some people can be thespians. Some people sit there. I tell him, I give him a gold piece. I'm not going to hold that against the player who's not comfortable role playing.
Well, that's why this is an optional thing. It doesn't happen all the time, and it only happens when you're doing really bad or really well, depending on. And hey, that guy that you just said, he doesn't role play very well, but he's got the heart. That's great. If he's doing good, if he's doing well for him, I would still give a bonus. If he's doing poorly for him, I would give a minus.
So Bloodworth has a saying here. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you.
You do.
I like to use hirelings or followers in GM +1 player campaigns where I like to get the player. Sorry, where I can't read. Where I like to get the player to get to like the hireling and then to kill off the hireling. See, I find that being an asshole game.
That is an asshole. No. That's the same thing as always killing your horse.
But, all right. But I agree with him on one thing. If you are trying to get a game where there's some emotional attachment in there or eggs the character on to like, I will avenge you, I can see its use. So so it's never a definitive, this is never right. But I'm so jaded against, like Heathen Dog said, and we talked about this last week, against the game master that, oh, I killed your horse. Oh, I killed your hireling. Oh, I took your spell book away from you. Oh, I hate those tropes. But if it works for you and it works for your game, I have fun. It's your game.
Okay. Then it goes into common hirelings. These are your hirelings that are like an armor repair guy or a scribe or whatever, like hired for one-off things or for a couple of days of work.
Oh, I was asked last week what a stevedore is, or stevedore. I always call it stevedore. That's a dock worker.
Yep. Hirelings do not require elaborate negotiations. So the common hirelings don't require any kind of elaborate negotiations. This is their job. They do their job. They know they're not going to be in any danger. And that's great. If you put them into danger, they will leave. This is your guide, your messenger, pack handler, porter, teamster. These are people who just are doing manual labor or simple tasks. If they see danger, they run away.
Or
And
says I forgot to shout out.
I don't know for what.
For what? I did 2 shout outs already.
Yeah.
I'm going to do them again a little bit.
Okay. All right, that's fine. That's fine. Now, because they're not going to be in any danger, they are paid accordingly. They're paid in silver pieces. As you can see from the chart, an armor bearer is 3 silver pieces. His job is to carry armor around. That's it. His job is not to get stabbed or stab other people. That's his job.
Or you might find him wearing your armor.
Or yeah, as he's running away. Yeah, that's what happened.
Well,
now,
but it does say here, a dungeon armor bearer works for 1 to 3 gold pieces per day.
That he's expected to be in some kind of danger because he's going into a dungeon. Dungeons are not Club Med getaways. Dungeons are places where you want to get away from your breathing habit. So yeah. So, and then if you want to go from common hirelings to mercenaries, these are the people that you would bring to a dungeon. These are the people that expect a level of danger well beyond that of a cobbler. Okay. And they are paid accordingly.
Yes. But
20,
I highlighted this part to be clear. 0th level fighter.
Yes. They have 1d8 hit points. They're 0 level fighters. Okay. They are jabronis. They are just people to make you look cooler. They are not people to depend upon. They are people to supplement. All right. Think of one light cavalryman, 20 gold pieces per month. One heavy cavalryman is a gold piece per day to have him around.
Plus you have to feed him.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, this is just paying him to be around. You're responsible for food and lodging as well. So remember that.
I didn't see this the first time I read it. They may require an equal share of party profits.
Yeah, well, if he's getting paid a gold piece a day, he can suck a dick. I'm not giving him shit. Anyway, and then it gives the descriptions of what they all are: infantryman, the marine, the pikeman, whatever. And then there are the specialists. These are the highly specialized professions. And these are ones that take years to master. And again, they are paid accordingly. An alchemist, 2,000 gold pieces a month. You want an alchemist on retainer? Good luck, brother. You better be a rich mofo. An animal trainer. It's not like you can hire an animal trainer for a day. No, you got to hire an animal trainer long-term because that's how long it takes to train animals. And if you want to hire a blacksmith, that's 30 gold pieces a month. Plus, if you want him something to do, you got to give him the materials. You got to give him a bellows. You got to give him an anvil. You got to give him all the stuff, all the materials, everything, a place to work, a shop. You got to furnish all of that. A sage, just a dude who says he knows stuff. That's a grand amount.
I want to talk about the sage for a moment.
Go for it.
So a game master of mine who I really respected way back in the day. I haven't talked to him in years though. We had a sage and we had to pay. I'm just going to say it's 1,000 gold pieces because I don't remember what it was, but out of party expenses, we had to keep paying him. And he kept threatening to leave because we weren't paying him enough and so forth. And we were like, my money, I went on the adventure. Well, we thought we were overpaying that sage. And we kind of were. It cost him 50 gold pieces to get this information. It cost him 25 gold pieces to find out some other information, either bribes or, go in the library or buying a book or whatever, right? However, there came a time that we didn't know this, that he had spent 9,000 gold to make sure that we had the appropriate information. Yes, that was way more than his salary. So while we thought he was just getting rich off of us, and he kind of was,
He's still doing his job.
He was doing his job, and one time that was so much more than his monthly payment. But he was accurate, he was honest, and we used him for a lot of story hooks and so forth. It cost us, don't get me wrong, it absolutely cost us. But he would go out, and I just remember the 9,000 gold incident. 9,000 gold to verify, to hire this guy, to hire that guy, to go do these things, to do this task, to hire these mercenaries, to do another task, get that task, to finally get the damn information to verify that it was right. You know what? Think deeper in your game. I never would, when I was that age, I never would have thought about that. But think deeper in your game that just, you pay him 1,000 gold a month, he's getting rich because it's something you could have gone to the library for, blah, blah, blah. No. This guy is paying people. He is going out and again, hiring mercenaries to protect items, to et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't want to go into that too much deeper. Mahakman said that I didn't shout it on the Discord channel, and he was right.
Okay. All right. Now we get into henchmen. Henchmen are different. Henchmen are not your zero level. They're actually leveled characters. Okay. These ones actually are not completely useless in most situations. And they will cost, usually if you are a higher level, like it's either 6th or 9th level in this game, where you get a stronghold and you get a number of henchmen, that you give them, it says whatever class you are, it'll say how much you got to pay them every month. And they will actually, they're there to fight wars with you. They are there to keep the peace in your kingdom. They are there to be in danger, just like hirelings. You're paying them more money because they're in more danger. And that's why they have loyalty and morale.
And this is what I was talking about earlier. This
yes,
is
the common hirelings, they don't have a whole loyalty and morale. If they are faced with a loyalty and morale check, they're considered automatically failed and they run. Because that's not their job to be put in danger. It's their job to move crates from A to B, or to copy this book from one book to another, or whatever. That's their job. And their job is not to get stabbed, so they run away. Great. But hirelings and mercenaries, they're paid more for more danger. And and so they have a loyalty and morale check. So the referee can assign hireling loyalty, typically 6 to 8, or you can use table what?
See, we don't not using Streamlabs, so this stuff doesn't pop up. But Magical Cat Girl just donated $20.
Holy shit!
I'm pretty sure that's Baldahar.
I'm pretty sure that is too. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Magical Cat Girl. By the way, you're gonna see Magical Cat Girl in segment 2.
Oh, yes, you are.
So thank you. Yeah. Let's put that on the screen for a moment. That's
I did.
Worth it. Oh, okay. No, I'll leave it up for a little bit.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now or we can use table 75 to establish it randomly. Okay, now hirelings, they're the ones who are the 0 level cavalrymen or archers or whatever. They're the jabronis who will actually fight for you. So normally their morale is going to be pretty low, or loyalty is going to be pretty low. Now 6 to 8 is your typical, but if you want to roll like for example, I would give a bonus to loyalty and morale for base hirelings if you paid them more money.
Sure.
Yeah, because that's their job to, they get paid money to be in danger. You give them more money, they will expect more danger. There you go. Now, if you move down,
or at least is a good selling point for them to stay within that danger.
Exactly right. Yeah. And then we go down to henchman hiring morale on page 231. The referee can assign an NPC's morale score or use the table below: cowardly, half-hearted, timid, level-headed, brave, valiant, fearless. All right, now. Baldahar, what's he doing? I admit nothing. Okay.
No. He says, I want to hire Max. I offer $1. Is he a specialist that needs to do a reaction roll, or will he just do it? I hear he used to do anything for $1. That was his $20 quote, so I had to read it.
That was good.
I didn't. Now, you know that story. So let's move on.
Okay. Now this is the only way I as a game master would screw with someone's hirelings and henchmen, is this morale check. If you didn't tell them the absolute truth about where they're going, like you hired 20 light cavalrymen. It's like, oh yeah, there's a small kobold nest of like 5 to 7 kobolds in this cave over here. They've been hitting homesteaders up, and we're gonna go stop them. They're like, oh okay, yeah, normal pay, that's fine. And you get there, and there's like 80 of them. And they all have swords and armor. And they're like, what the fuck? And they're like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. Yeah, it's all, I didn't want to pay you more. Well, you're going to get screwed. They're going to go up, fuck you. And they're going to go away.
How do you handle a situation then? And I'm going to be really weird on this one, but it gets the point across. Of say like the Soviet army or the German war machine in World War II. I use those two specifically because we know that those were both evil.
Okay.
Where those henchmen were utterly loyal. Low level, high level, so forth. I mean, now let's be honest. The Soviet army, they were shooting each other in the back because they turned around and so forth. But
That's
the
where
point
decimation came from. Yeah.
well, decimation came from Romans, but yeah.
Well, yeah. I believe the Russians did it too.
They just shot each other in the back. Like if I see your face, I'm shooting you. Or I guess that's the front. But go. I don't have a weapon. Go. If I see your face, I shoot you. Damn it! See, I thought I wasn't gonna hit the mic, and I just did.
Yeah. Well, if you have structured your country or your army or whatever to where they have no other choice. This if they don't do this, they're gonna die anyway, or their family is gonna starve. Then morale checks are no longer needed, but you're no longer a good guy. You're now a bad guy.
Fair enough. No, I just wanted to see how you'd have that.
Well, all of them would be the least effective fighters possible.
Oh, probably,
yeah.
But then again, while true for the Russians, at least at first, wasn't true for the Germans, at least at first. But then again, all I'm saying, my point being this, is I agree with Heathen Dog. If you treat somebody like crap, they're not going to give you their best at all. No, so at the same time, if you hold a gun to somebody's head, it might still be cowardly, flees at the first sign of danger. Unfortunately, the bigger danger is the person, putting the gun to his head. So he can't quite flee, even though he really wants to.
Yeah, but
so the way he flees the gun from the head is to do the other crap that he didn't want to do.
Right. But if you don't control the place where he lives, you can just go home. I mean, yeah, go home. I'm just going to go home and get hired by somebody else. So they have to keep that definitely in mind. All right, so yeah, and that's really what they wanted to show you with henchman, hireling, and what do they call it? Common hirelings, and henchmen. Hirelings are like the mercenaries and stuff. People who expect combat. The common hirelings are people who do a job and they're not going to be in combat. They don't have morale rolls because they automatically fail. And then there's the henchmen who are leveled NPCs who fight for you, who expect quite a bit of danger, and as long as you treat them decently, they're going to stay. You pay their stipend. Basically, you pay their stipend and you don't beat them, and they're going to stick around. All right.
To me, this is great for a new player. For an experienced game master, experienced group who's been doing this for a long time, it probably seems like But I think that differentiation between those three groups, I like the way it is spelled out here. And by the way, this is for Baldahar's dollar.
Oh, I don't want to see that.
There you go. Go on.
Is it over?
It's over.
Okay.
He said I'd do anything for $1. That was for one. 19 more to go.
Boom. Great. I got that to look forward to today. That's awesome. All right. Adventure actions and procedures.
Oh, you're not gonna do base of operations? Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, well, there's adventure preparation, but this is all stuff getting ready for going on to adventure. What do you need? Well, you need food, you need water, you need food for the horses if you got horses, you need food for any hirelings you're bringing.
Again, I like this for a brand new player.
Yeah, for a brand new player, this is important. Sure. What kind of order is the caravan going in? This is all stuff you hash out before you even leave your home base.
Truthfully, though, this was a memory jogger for me. When I read this, I was like, of course. Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. I like this. Again, somebody's been doing this forever. I don't feel it's necessary. At the same time, for the new player and as a memory jogger, I'm so glad this is in the book. Yeah,
it is good. But we're going to move on to following actions. And this is page 233. The following actions and procedures are typical of any adventure, whether the campaign takes place in the depths of the underworld, a hoary wilderness, or a lost temple. Naturally, these do not cover the gamut of possible actions PCs may undertake. Rather, they provide guidelines for which other rulings may be extrapolated. Climbing, breaking through doors, illumination, all this stuff will come up. Light is going to come up big in a dungeon. If you get thrown in jail, the door thing is going to become important. Stuff like that. And it shows you the radius of common light sources.
Which is very similar to the old D&D ones.
Yeah, exactly. And how to deal with traps, how long and how well their rest or sleep is going to be, and how does that affect them. If they want to listen, how does listening work? You know, if they're not actively listening, can they hear something come up behind them? Sure they can. And this is how you would deal with that. And, you know, seems common, but again, like you said, for first time players, mapping this stuff out is really, really helpful.
And if there's one thing, I know you haven't got to it, but I can't help it. My favorite part of the entire combat movement, whatever adventuring section, table 78. I know you're not quite there, but I can't help it. I'm looking at it. Table 78. If you don't know what to roll, in D&D, they like to do this. I don't know. Roll a 20, add your dex, but I don't know what your class, blah, screw all that. It's just a D6. If it's difficult, roll a 1 or less, or very difficult. If it's simple, roll a 5 or less. You know, it's quick, it's simple, it's there. Just like, I don't know, man. Let's say you're trying to do this, and you know that's not hard. Just roll me a moderate success, 4 or less, and you got it. All right, let's go. Let's move on.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah, and anything that keeps the flow of the game going is a good rule.
Yes,
I like that. Now, there's also attribute checks. Means of non-standard action termination. If a purely physical action stands a chance of failure, like jumping over a wide chasm. I'm going to say chasm because you can't jump over a chasm, but jumping over a pit, or lifting up a heavy object that's in the way. That is a pure attribute check, purely physical action. The referee can call for a test of or extraordinary feat of the relevant attribute. And if you look at the attributes,
I'm going to go back to that.
Go back to the attributes. And it will show you, depending on your ability trait score, what an extraordinary feat success level is.
I got to find it. Character classes tickets.
It's under attributes.
I know, it's way at the beginning.
Yeah, it is.
There we go. Right here. Test of strength, extraordinary feat of strength.
There you go. So if you have a strength of, say, 14, what is an extraordinary feat?
An extraordinary feat is 8%, unless you're a combat or a fighter. Then it would be 16%.
16%. Okay, that is your chance to create this. Now, each class has an ability to augment an extraordinary feat based on their natural attribute, depending on
only the physical ones, not the mental ones.
Only the physical ones. Sorry, depending on their attribute and the specialty of their class.
So like a thief, I'm not going to scroll. Oh, Dexter's over here. So a thief would get an 8% bonus to this as well as for a total of 16.
Right.
But think of the test of dexterity or test of strength as literally the strength check or the dex check. Yeah. Think of extraordinary feat of strength as your bend bars, lift
gates. Yeah. Yeah. Stuff like that. Like stuff where like Conan. What was it? It was in the first one where he was lifting up this portcullis type thing, or keeping it open, or was it Conan the Destroyer? I forget which one, but that would be an extraordinary feat of strength, because that is something that you would think a normal human would not be able to do, or would kill themselves doing. Now, if it was just a moderately sized boulder and you see Conan roll it away, you'd be like, yeah, okay, I can see that. Then that would be just a normal feat of strength.
And chances are his are going to be pretty easy, like 5 or less, because he's really strong. Because
he's freaking Conan, and you know, for 15 years he was grinding that mill, so he's got muscles everywhere. All right, but it gives examples, but we just gave some.
Yeah.
So and then it moves on to time to tell you exactly what the time increments are. 1 round is 10 seconds. 6 rounds is 1 minute. 1 turn is 10 minutes.
Now this
6 turns is 1 hour.
Different from at least 2nd edition D&D.
Yes.
I don't know enough about first. I should, because I played it, but first or 2nd edition AD&D, 1 round is 1 minute. It wasn't supposed to necessarily be. I'm not gonna get that. Well, so this is different, because I'm gonna tell you right now that Call Lightning is still 1 lightning bolt per turn. So instead of getting one every 10 rounds, it's every 60 rounds. You may as well just do your 1 and walk away.
Yeah. I mean, technically it'll happen again, but usually by that time everyone's dead anyway.
It's not so much an in-combat ability anymore as a storytelling ability.
Yeah, if you want to attack a village, Call Lightning's your jam.
Yep.
Because you can hit a house every couple minutes and it would just cause horrible panic. No one will know where it's coming from. You could giggle and do it all day. That's great.
It's great to keep characters on a timer too. Like,
yeah. Every 10 minutes, lightning strikes another hovel and more grannies die.
Yep.
So you gotta fix this shit real quick. All right. And the first thing is finding the wizard that's doing it, or the cleric or whatever that's doing it, and stopping this nonsense.
Can you read this first paragraph here? Because I think it's important.
Okay. Game time is measured in rounds and turns. A round measures time during battle. It also measures the duration of some spells, abilities, and other effects. A turn measures dungeon or wilderness movement and exploration. Likewise, the duration of some spells, abilities, and other effects.
That distinction is going to be very important when we start talking about movement and so forth.
Yes. Movement in a dungeon or a heavy wilderness area or craggy, hilly, craggy area where your footholds are shitty, is monumentally slowed down if you want to take the proper care and not just randomly fall down and break your leg or run into a trap or be ambushed right away or whatever. Like, sure, you can rush through a dungeon and have it be plains time or city street time rather than dungeon time. But you're going to hit every trap. You're going to miss every turn. You're going to be surprised by every opponent because you are not taking the proper care.
And we'll get into the differences of those. You can actually see them on the screen right now. Did you want to talk encumbrance? Because I hate encumbrance, but
I know you hate encumbrance, but I do like it just as a
I like it as a concept. I don't like it as a rule.
I like it as a rule, but it usually only comes up for thieves. Like, I want to steal everything. Well, you get better choose, brother, because that giant idol is pure gold. You know how much gold weighs?
Now, to be fair, I do believe in encumbrance and so forth, but I don't like to wait. Okay, hold on. This is 14 pounds. That's 21 pounds. This is I don't like that kind of minutia. I prefer like what some other systems do, where it's like I keep saying Forbidden Lands today, but it's just that's an example. You have a strength of 4, you can carry 8 things.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. I prefer something simpler, or something simple like that. I don't like doing this kind of numbers crunching. At the same time, I do believe if you're carrying a lot of stuff, you should move slower.
Yeah.
Just how to implement it is always the problem.
And it's not horrible. I mean, the normal movement rate is 40. So if you're encumbered, that's -10. If you're heavily encumbered, it's -20. So
again,
it's not
for D&D
horrible.
players, that 40 is exactly 120 from second edition AD&D.
Yeah.
They just use yards instead of feet.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not horribly bad. It's not like, oh geez, where in second edition, if you were heavily encumbered, you're moving like a movement rate of 5 or 1 or some other nonsense. It'll go down to that. Like, it doesn't go down to that. After you go beyond your max, you just can't pick it up anymore. You just can't move. You can pick it up, but you can't go anywhere with it. It's too heavy to walk with. If you lose 1 more pound, hey, you're -20. You're half movement. That is the most you can be encumbered and still move, is half movement. Okay, that's great. Now we're going to go in combat movement, dungeon movement, and wilderness movement.
Okay.
All right. Combat movement, of course. Oh, see page 254. Combat actions. Fuck you. We're going to move to dungeon movement. Any man, armored or not, can cover about 120 feet per turn or 10 minutes when cautiously navigating dark dungeon passages or subterranean caverns. This rate accounts for mapping, listening, inspecting, moving stealthily, and so forth. Dungeon movement rate also applies to castles, towers, buildings, alleys, and the like. This is a deliberate movement to make sure that you get to roll to notice, see, or not fall into a trap. It doesn't mean you automatically get these rolls. It means you are not electing to forego them.
Right.
So if you're going to step on it, if there's a trap in front of you and you are using dungeon movement, then you will get a roll to notice that trap. You might get a roll to notice, unless it's like super, super hidden secret or a plot point or something like that. But if you are using regular movement in a dungeon, you don't get a roll. You just fall into the fucking trap. You just trap. It just goes off and you get hit.
Or the way I like to think of it, you're automatically surprised. I know somebody's made, that's not how surprise rolls work. Well, this is how I would use it. You're automatically surprised by the goblins waiting.
You were not listening.
Yeah, right.
You were not listening, so you did not hear them around the corner going, oh, I haven't seen an adventure in a while. I'm getting kind of hungry. You didn't hear that. So there you go. Wilderness. In the wilderness, a healthy man, lightly armored or unarmored, 40 movement rate, okay, can walk about 1 league, which is 3 miles per hour, or about 24 miles per day in optimal conditions. This pace accounts for about 10 hours of travel. And adventurers clad in medium or heavy armor also can walk about 1 league per hour, but they require longer periods of rest and recuperation, so the total miles achieved per day are lessened. The following formula is used to calculate miles traveled per day. Your movement rate divided by 10 times 6 equals the miles you can travel in a day. This is what makes people want to buy horses and carts, because
encumbrance makes you want to buy carts.
Yeah. But encumbrance, because usually people only do encumbrance in combat situations or stressful situations where you think it's important. No, they use encumbrance to get your total travel time. Now it's affecting how many meals you brought. Now it's affecting how much water you have to get back home. Now you could die on the way home because you won't drop this gold statue. Which is bad. So
I must have it.
I must have it. Well, then you don't get the food, asshole. That's it. That's it.
I will carry this all
the way to your grave.
As somebody who's actually picked up gold, I know a lot of people have, but I mean, like a bar of gold.
Bar of gold, yes.
I'm not carrying that fucking thing anywhere. I'm just talking a bar.
Like, it's crazy. But if you have a horse and cart or a mule or whatever, you can basically bypass this for the most part. I mean, anything you could carry out of the dungeon, that horse and cart or mule,
750 pounds or something like that. It's in the equipment section, but I think it's like 750 pounds for a horse and cart.
Yeah, and
before it becomes encumbered.
A strength 18 person can only carry 375 pounds total. So you're going to have a lot of Conans coming out of that dungeon full up to encumber a horse and cart or a mule or whatever. So you can basically ignore this. It's however fast the horse travels and you're good to go. So you plan your trip accordingly. I like that. But it's another thing where if you have a dungeon master who constantly fucks with your horses, then he better not use that rule. I don't like him. And then it breaks it down after that: overland travel, terrain effects on movement, becoming lost. This is if you didn't hire that guide.
Simple rules. When I first saw this, I was like, oh, that's just more crap to worry about. Like the Wilderness Survival Guide, or the Earth Dawn had one as well. Wilderness, I think it is the Wilderness Survival Guide there too. It's just like, I don't know. I start thinking this gets too into minutia. However, this is so easy. I can't say don't use this. I have to say this works. Unless you're on an adventure on rails and you really can't have your party get lost.
Yeah. Or if your party hired a local scout or a local guide.
Well, that just adds to the roll.
Well, yeah, but if it's 1 out of 6 and you hired a guide, I'm going to say it's an auto success.
Well, it says here it's one. You roll a D8.
Okay, roll a D8. Oh, okay. Well, then I would make it a D6.
Now remember, it's only no. So a lost chance is 1 in 6. You only lost if you roll a 1.
Okay, then I would subtract 1 from the first number. If you hired a guide, I would subtract 1 from the first number.
Yeah, no, that's fine. The games like this are meant to have personal house rules and so forth. I was just pointing out here that if you had a barbarian, huntsman, ranger, scout, you roll a D8 instead, which does make it a lot harder to get lost. But if your rule for your game would be automatic success or roll 1 less or whatever, perfect. I mean, that's how these games are done.
Yeah. I mean, you spent the money to hire that guide. He's a local guide. He's been there to and from lots of times. If he gets lost and he doesn't make it home to his family because he had an accident, well,
Now, to be fair, actually, no, in thinking this through a little bit more, I was thinking of some past adventures, but yes, now I'm thinking kind of movie oriented, which, let's be fair, these games are kind of cinematic, right?
Sure.
If I hired the Zulu guide to get me through, the brushes of Kenya,
That isn't where the Zulus were.
Whatever, shut up.
absolutely. If I'm paying this person well, and the person's legit and it's not a story hook to get the characters lost, then yeah, I wouldn't roll as well. He'd get the players where they need to be.
Yeah, I mean, if it was someone who wasn't from the local area, I would give a bonus, but I would still make them roll. But if it's a local
this
guide,
bonus right here is perfect.
yeah. But if it was a local guide, I'm like, no, I'm not going to roll that. That's dumb.
That's fair. Yep.
Yeah. And then if you do get lost, it gives you the course deviation. Now this, I don't like this. The reason being is
understand the game does come with a huge map. I
Yeah.
don't have it, or I have a paper version. I hate paper maps, but
Yeah.
it does come with a huge map, so I can understand this.
Yeah, I understand it,
But
but this is more like if you really, really love grid maps and stuff, this would be useful, but I'm not a big fan of it.
I would just have you roll again to see if you deviate more, if you finally get yourself.
Yeah.
So you lost a day or two of travel.
Exactly. You better have the food and water and funds to pay the people who are still with you when you get back or whatever. And then there's hazards. Described hereafter are several examples of the environmental perils adventurers may confront whilst traveling trackless wilderness. Latitude, topography, and season generally will dictate temperature extremes. The referee is at liberty to place other hazards as he deems fit, perhaps a 1 in 6 or a 1 in 12 chance per day of travel. He likewise has the courage to devise new dangers unique to his milieu.
I love that word.
I know. Now, a lot of these are depending, like I said, seasonal. Like you're not going to get an extreme cold hazard in the summer.
True. Just remember that if you're playing on the base Hyperborea world, it is colder than our natural world.
Yes, but extreme cold is a winter thing. Extreme cold is not a summer thing. It is not a hazard that would happen in a summer environment.
In most of the areas, yes.
Yes. Extreme heat, the opposite is true. Mud or tar pits in a desert, you're not going to see this.
Now, some classes and races get bonus to this stuff. If I remember correctly, like the Barbarian gets a bonus, or is it the Berserker? One of them gets like a bonus, like he can be out there with his shirt off until a certain point. Obviously, if it's negative 100, there's no chance.
Yeah, there's
do
no
the
chance.
Vikings or somebody also like get a I forget.
Doesn't matter. But if you're going to roll this stuff, if you're going to roll randomly, you have to make sure to eliminate the obviously not going to happen to them scenarios. Like you said, extreme cold hazard in the summertime, extreme hot hazard in the wintertime, mud or tar pits if they're going through a desert, not going to happen. Swamp gas, again, desert or mountains, you're not going to have a swamp gas episode. All right. Sorry, it's not going to happen. So you have to tailor it to the environment that they are traveling in. And then of course,
here we go.
There's the transport. There it is. The movement rate of transport, camels, mules, and it gives their encumbrance.
So look, a riding horse that's carrying 250 pounds has a full movement rate of 60.
Yep.
Or up to 250.
Up to 250 pounds, right.
251 to 350 has a movement rate of 30, which is still pretty darn good.
Yeah, a normal person unencumbered is 40, so that's still really good, especially holding 350 pounds. But
now that's just the horse. If you get the wagon route,
that's
got
much
that
better.
highlighted.
Yep, the wagon.
750 for each horse.
That's really good.
Yeah, I mean, so if you have two horses on there, 1,500 pounds. Now, it only has a movement rate of 30, but that's because, I mean, let's be realistic about this. A wooden axle going over roads going at a full 60 constantly just doesn't work.
No, that's going to break real quick. But yeah, I mean, even if you just look at a mule, just a single mule will go 20 up to 300 pounds. And mules are pretty small.
If you can get it to move.
Well, yeah. I assume, you have some kind of ability to handle that. And then, of course, if you want to go cheaper, there's the donkey. Yeah, whatever. But apparently the good one is a camel. Man, they travel far. A leaper camel. The leaper camel will bear a rider and his gear only, not submitting to a harness. Oh, whatever. You suck.
Well, you can go to the dromedary.
Well, no, just get the woolly mammoth. It's fine. 4,000 pounds. You're good. Whatever.
Take that in the summer.
Empty out that goddamn dungeon right there.
I know, right? Oh, dude, I so want that. I want like a party, an entire adventure party riding mammoths.
There you go. Each one has his own mammoth.
Hey, where do I park this thing? And by the way, who's cleaning up after?
Okay, number one, you can park it wherever you want.
True.
No one's gonna say shit. Number two, they're gonna say shit. They're gonna see it, giant elephant shit, but they're not going to tell you to clean it up because you're a party of woolly mammoths. So
Right.
no one's going to say anything.
Oh, mammoth drawn wagon. I
Oh
didn't
my
notice this
God.
before. The Great Wheel. Oh, I want to see one of those. Okay. I don't know how I missed that before, but anyway, yeah, there. 6,000 pounds. Got that statue now, don't we?
Yep. There you go. And of course, there's rules for forced marching, which is making people march faster than is normal. But as the side effect is you are going to tire them all out, and they are going to eventually collapse from exhaustion and maybe even die on you. Unencumbered rangers might sustain a force march indefinitely per referee approval. When beasts are urged to force march, rate plus 10 to plus 20 movement, they must make morale checks, notwithstanding if a beast passes its morale check, of which many loyal steed is capable, at length might well collapse and die. Like, they will still follow instructions. They'll still go double fast, quick, fast, and in a hurry, but then they'll just die.
Yeah, but I think that just comes from the trope of the rider who just has to keep riding to get the message through or whatever.
Right.
And yes, at the end, the loyal steed dies, but, the heroic event happens. So I'm cool with that.
I get it. That's fine.
If you're doing it every adventure, I would start treating you like a Earthdawn Beastmaster and give you a talent credit.
No, I'd start having them die right away.
No, there you go.
Because if you do it all the time, if you stress an animal beyond what they're normally capable of enough times, it's going to break a leg, throw a shoe, collapse and die, heart burst, whatever. You're just going to lose the animal. All right. That's just basic. All right. So that's going to start happening to you, and you're going to be upset, and I'm going to be laughing because I think it's super funny. And after that, we have the encounter. An encounter occurs when the party chance on men or monsters whose motives and ambitions do not necessarily accord with those of the player. Blah 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 blah. My God, that is a really long sentence saying, like, this is anyone you meet that you didn't plan on meeting. Ta-da! There it is.
Hey, but it does fit with the narrative of the entire book.
It does, yes. That's fine. Now, there are different encounters: dungeon encounters, wilderness encounter. I'm sure there's city encounter. Dungeon wilderness encounters. Wandering monsters should be checked every 1 to 2 turns while in a dungeon. Depending on population activity in the dungeon, a random encounter occurs at a distance of 2d6 times 10 feet. However, surprise distance is 1d3 times 10. So if you were moving through a dungeon and you were not being careful, you were doing normal movement, when you met anyone, any encounter is 1d3 times 10 feet away. That's the first time you noticed. Now, guess what? They noticed you first. They encountered you at 2d6 times 10 feet away.
Can have double surprise, but yes.
But no, if you're not being careful and they are, I'm going to say, fuck you. No, they're never surprised, and you always are.
Question: do you ever actually do this random encounter stuff?
Every
1 to 2 turns?
No, I don't do it that frequently. But I will have random encounters through long hallways in dungeons. I will have random encounters.
When I write up a dungeon, I populate it. So I don't know. I don't.
No,
like
I get it.
Encounters,
I get it. But everyone is so used to having encounters only in rooms.
Oh no, I agree with you. Like I'll have. Matter of fact, I wrote an Earthdawn one that never got played, where there's a random encounter. You'd encounter the creature one time, and I would roll for each hallway. And by the time they got to the last hallway, if they haven't encountered it, they automatically would then.
Sure.
But till then, it was a random roll, but it was still a planned encounter.
Right. Well, this one would be a random encounter, but it would be planned enemies. Like, you would not encounter a Balrog in a kobold den. You would encounter kobolds. Yay! But are they going to be women and children kobolds? Are they going to be warrior kobolds? Are they going to be scribe kobolds or scribbler kobolds, I guess you call them, or whatever? So that to me, that is the random thing. Like, obviously it's a kobold den. You're going to encounter only kobolds, but are there going to be fighter kobolds? Are there going to be non-fighter kobolds like women and children? Are they going to be the equivalent of scribes or hirelings or common hirelings or whatever, stuff like that?
This is where I'm a bad OSR person. I love the OSR. I just when I'm hearing you talk, I put everything back into the story, and I understand that a lot of OSR folks don't like story; they like Monster of the Week, and I get it, and I'm with you. I don't like randomness. To me, there has to be a reason for everything, and that's a weakness. It's also a strength, but it's partially weakness. I can't even build a dungeon without explaining why it was actually built this certain way. I can't do it. So for you, like the kobold thing, it's a kobold there. Okay, yeah, it might be women and children, blah, 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 but I couldn't do it randomly. It has to have a purpose. I'm not going to put some random thing out there, just be like, well, I don't know, there's a couple ogres walking around. I can't get with that. I don't know why. I just can't.
I get it.
I guess that's more for dungeon. The wilderness, I'm more open to it. But for dungeon stuff, I don't know. It just, the random thing gets me. I don't know. It could be a black slime. It could be nothing. It could be an orc.
Yeah, you got to think about it this way. But a kobold den is their city. You're walking through a kobold city. You're going to find. You're going to find the constabulary. Sure. You might run in the mayor. You might run into a school teacher. Whatever. You don't know who's on the street that day. You got to think of it the same way. It's not really a dungeon because they don't call it a dungeon. They call it their town. So you're going to have randomness in it. Now, the wilderness one you're talking about, wandering monsters should be checked for every 3, 6, or 12 turns. Now, remember, turns are different in the wilderness encounter. They're much longer, depending on the perilousness of the environment. In the wilderness, a random encounter occurs at a distance of 2d6 times 10 yards. However, surprise is 1d3 times 10. It's the same.
By the way, it's feet to yards.
Oh, I'm sorry, feet. Sorry.
Everything in dungeons is converted to feet. That's the one thing that I wanted to mention. I forgot. So thanks for doing that. Is that everything in dungeons is converted to feet. What I like about that is it makes the numbers the same. Instead of going 120 here, 120 there, 120 there, and then 40 here, 40 here, 40 here, the numbers are the same. You just convert it from feet to yards and yards to feet.
I'm of the other way. I like it when the numbers are different. Because just like I did, I mistook them for being exactly the same. And
I think it's for ease. I don't have a problem if he had done it the other way. I'm saying I think for ease, you just remember everything's 40 or everything's a D3 times 10. You just know it's yards to feet. I can see it both ways. On this one, I guess what I'm saying is if they would have done it the way that you like, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. I guess this is one guy. It's Jeffrey, not a they. But if you'd done it, the way he did it, I don't have a problem with that either.
Okay.
Because it is differentiated between feet and yards. Ultimately, the distances are
what's important. Yeah.
Numerically the same.
Yeah. And then once you do meet somebody, there's a reaction roll. Okay. It doesn't have to be bad. Like you're in the kobold town and you run into a school marm.
Kill it.
Okay, that's not her reaction is not going to be violent. It's not going to be hostile.
It's a kobold. It's a monster. Kill it.
You're really defeating the purpose here. All right. You're really defeating the purpose. What I'm saying is her reaction to you being there is not going to be ever to immediately attack you.
Well, unless it's 2 or less.
No. I wouldn't allow it. It's a school marm kobold. It is not a fighter or a child.
It's a patriotic one.
Nope. Kobolds are dumb, but dumb kobolds like that don't survive past. Actually, no. Actually, if it's a child and attacks you, that's just Darwinism happening. But you want to roll the reaction chart. Obviously, the game master is going to plus or minus this thing depending on your particular situation. If you encounter a gaggle of nuns moving from one convent to another, a roll of 2 or less.
Cloister, not a gaggle.
Whatever. They look like
penguins.
Penguins, yeah. So you would a roll of 2 or less would not be allowed. It just wouldn't be allowed. As a matter of fact, a roll of 3 or less would not be allowed. So for that reaction, I would give a +3 to the result to make sure you could not roll a 1, 2, or a 2 or 3. To make sure. Because no way would those through the cloister of nuns be immediately violent or hostile to you. Because they're nuns, man. They don't do that. They're not physically hostile. They're sternly mean looking at you. That's pretty much
pacifists until you do something really silly, like use the wrong fork.
A murder of nuns. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's a true thing.
That would be awesome if it was.
Now, Evasion. You can attempt to flee a hostile situation, or just any situation, really, if you want. If the party are faster than the encounter, your escape can be assumed. If some or all of the party members are not as fast, then they intentionally drop an item to distract a greedy or dim-witted creature just to ensure escape.
Like a kobold.
There you go. Conversely, if the monsters flee the party must decide whether to pursue them or not. The party can catch up to monsters. Great. If you can't, well, then you can't. They're faster than you. They got away. That happens sometimes. But the thing is, like those nuns we were talking about, if they see you and they don't trust you, like, oh, we are fleeing people who burned down our convent, and you look like the people who burned down our convent, they will flee. And then if you want to say, hey, but why didn't do it? I'm a nice guy. You got to chase them down, which is not going to make you look any better.
No, not at all.
I mean, just think of the visual on that one. It's not going to engender you to them if you chase them down. I just let the nuns go. I don't want to deal with nuns. But so this it depends on how fast you can move if you get away or not, unless one or both of you is taken by surprise. Then you are close enough now for sometimes combat to occur, especially in a dungeon.
Which is where where game master, judge, referee. What's it called in this game? Referee, right?
Referee, yeah.
That's where the referee has to be a referee and make the call. Like, is it fighting time? Is it
exactly? Well, if you scroll back up, if you're in a dungeon and you ran into these orcs under surprise conditions, you roll 1d3 times 10 feet. Well, what if you roll 10 feet?
Oh,
then that is definitely within initial combat distance. You're rolling initiative. That's the way it is.
Absolutely. No. I'm just saying. There could be times that people get away. There could be times that everybody stands there and stares at each other for a second. Whatever.
Maybe. But in the wilderness encounter, let's say you encounter someone and it's not surprise. That's 2d6 times 10. He backs it out. 120 yards away. That's over a football. Well, that's actually a football field, including the end zones, away from each other. There is no initiative.
You knew a sport analogy? Holy shit!
I don't know why I knew that.
What? Heathen Dog? What did you do with Heathen Dog?
I don't know. I don't know why I knew that. I have no idea. The knowledge was somewhere. It just it synapsed.
I have to bring this back to reality. What is it for Canadian football?
Oh, hell if I know. All I know is that their end zones are less, and their end zones are
longer.
They're longer. Okay, it's the sides then.
40 yards.
Yeah, they don't have the what do you call it? The out of bounds area.
Yeah, they do.
It's like a wall. It's like
Are you talking arena football?
I guess. Yeah, that's what Canadians do, right?
No.
It's Canada. What the fuck do I care?
I just had to bring it back for a second because there's no way you know a sport analogy. We're good. Go ahead.
Well, no, I don't know. I know one by accident. All right. Anyway, if you're 120 yards away, there is no combat that's going to be started right now. You can just elect to go. And more often than not, you do not encounter those people or that thing because it was too far away to actually, be an encounter. You saw it coming. You decided to go the other way. Okay. Now, do they want to chase you down? That's what the evasion stuff is for. Do they want to chase you down? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they don't care about you either. Okay.
Again, wow, I keep bringing this, but Forbidden Lands, and this is how I'd use evasion here. Forbidden Lands has a really great evasion maneuver, simple yet still meaningful, and I see this as very similar to that in terms of like, look, if you're really close, you make one roll to, we'll just call it separate the distance. And then you make a second roll to I'm now away. So if both of you succeed, no change. If one of you succeeds and the other one doesn't, well, then that varies the distance. You're either back in combat or you finally got away. Making it quick. And that's how I would utilize this here. Or like it says here, if it's dim-witted creature or somebody that just doesn't want to mess with you, let it go. Yeah.
Come on, man. I mean, like those nuns. If those nuns run from you because they're afraid of you, don't chase them.
Not everything has to be a fight. Well,
I
don't know off the top of my head how this game exactly does every nuance of experience, but I'll tell you how I would do it, whether it's in the game or not. Not having an encounter does not give you experience. Sorry. Oh, didn't fight the ogres, but since, you got past them, no, you still have to encounter them somehow. But you don't have to kill them. You could feed them. You could heal them. You could chop them off at the knees. You could kill them. You could get a whole bunch of other orcs to attack them or whatever. And we keep using D&D monsters here that don't even exist in this game, but it's kind of funny. But anyway, the point being, as long as you defeat that, you get the XP. So if you evade it, you have encountered it. I wouldn't give you full XP, but you'd still get some because you were smart enough to get the fuck away.
Yeah. And with the whole well, let's just use it because it's funny. Murder of nuns. You did not chase down the murder of nuns. They saw you, they were scared, and they ran away. You did not chase them down. You probably made the right call. I'll give you some
their rulers of wounding.
they're getting their rulers of wounding. Yeah, that's
my knuckles. Luckily, I went to Lutheran school, not Catholic school, so I didn't have to worry about that. We had other forms of punishment.
All right, now that is all of the everything you do right up until you get into combat, and then there's combat. And I don't want to do that today. I want to save that for next time because this is a long one. This is everything to do with combat, and it is many, many pages long.
I didn't think that this part was going to take this long, so I kind of assumed we were going to go into combat, but it wasn't bad.
No.
So I think this length was good. I'm making people dizzy now. Let's put the art up. But so yeah, I think stopping right at the combat section is a good place to stop. Yep. And Noro's also saying, the more I wait, I age. Wow.
Well, you're re-aging exactly the same amount whether you were doing something you like, so shut up.
Well, she'll have something to say to you in just a moment because we'll be bringing her on the show. So let me stop sharing this. Any up until the combat section, what do you have to say about Astonishing Swordsmen Sorcerers Hyperborea?
All right, a lot of it is what I like is very simple. A lot of it keeps the game flowing. It's made to do this. I mean, common hirelings, no, they don't have morale. They fail morale check. They fail loyalty. If they get into a combat, if they get into it, and not even combat, if they get scared, they just run. No roll, they fail. They run. They are here to move your boxes. They're here to scribble what you're saying. They're here to hold your armor. They're not there to be in danger. Fuck you, gone. The hirelings, mercenaries, the mercenary hirelings, and your henchmen, they get paid. They get paid the more money. They take the more danger. And hirelings are actually leveled. The henchmen are actually leveled, where the hirelings are 0 level fighters. So use them accordingly. All right. I like that. I like it a lot. I mean, it was presented better, I thought, here than in a second edition AD&D. And yeah, I would use this over anything else. I would.
I like it. So I'm not going to get into all this stuff, but there's a great second edition AD&D rewrite. And what this person did is this person went through all the manuals and so on and so forth, found all the rules that contradicted each other, and so on and so forth. And there's a game out there now. He changes Thaco to be from to hit armor class 0 to hit armor class of opponent or something like that, because obviously he doesn't want to get sued by Wizards of the Coast or anybody else. But it's called For Gold and Glory. I'm looking over there because that's where the book is. It's called For Gold and Glory. It's a pretty thick book too. But it includes the player's handbook and the game master's guide. So if you want a rules, not corrected, if you want the rules, the non-contradictory rules of second edition AD&D, get For Gold and Glory. But I agree with Heathen Dog completely, where my next D&D campaign is going to be using the Astonishing Swordsmen Sorcerers Hyperborea rule set. I'm just going to add in, I've already said this on the stream before, but yeah. I'm going to add in dwarves, elves, and so on and so forth. What I'm going to do is you still get your +1 bonus to, say, was it Constitution for dwarves? You just can't have a 19.
Right.
It's still going to stop at 18. So you're still going to have a higher average. But, you're not going to have that demi-human craziness. I am going to run my next D&D game with this rule set, whenever that happens to be, now or in the future. So I love the game system that much. One caveat that I'm going to make, and we didn't talk about it too much today, by the way, Unscripted, Unchanged RPG review. That's for Bloodworth, who I don't know if he's still watching or not, but if he is, cool. If not, well, he was watching earlier, and go ahead and give him a follow on his YouTube channel. He's got Toon! Dude, he's got Toon!
Hey, look at that.
He's got the original Toon. I don't even have that one. I have these other 4. I don't have the. He's got the original, at least the image for it. Freaking awesome. See, my books, they're right. I don't know. They're right there. That's awesome. He's got Toon. Oh shit. Anyway, go ahead and follow. I'm gonna have to watch this video. I want to see what he says about it. I can't.
Watch your own time, damn it.
I will. I can't do Toon because it doesn't. My mind doesn't work. It doesn't work in that cartoony fashion. But damn it, that's awesome. Anywho, go ahead and subscribe to his channel. Why am I not saying subscribe to our channel? Well, subscribe to our channel too. You should already be there. I'm trying to shout out somebody else here.
Come on.
So anyway, let's get that off the screen here. And with that, this is where I'm going to end this segment. And now